Chapter 38. The man of superior character is not conscious of his character, hence he has character. The man of inferior character is intent on not losing character, hence he is devoid of character. The man of superior character never acts, nor ever does so with an ulterior motive. The man of inferior character acts, and does so with an ulterior motive. The man of superior kindness acts, but does so without an ulterior motive. The man of superior justice acts, and does so with an ulterior motive. But when the man of superior Li acts and finds no response, he rolls up his sleeves to force it on others. Therefore, after Tao is lost, then arises the doctrine of humanity. After humanity is lost, then arises the doctrine of justice. After justice is lost, then arises the doctrine of Li. Now Li is the thinning out of loyalty and honesty of heart, and the beginning of chaos. The prophets are the flowering of Tao, and the origin of folly. Therefore the noble man dwells in the heavy, base, and not in the thinning, end. He dwells in the fruit, and not in the flowering, expression. Therefore he rejects the one, and accepts the other. 39. There were those in ancient times possessed of the One. Through possession of the One, the heaven was clarified. Through possession of the One, the earth was stabilized. Through possession of the One, the gods were spiritualized. Through possession of the One, the valleys were made full. Through possession of the One, all things lived and grew. Through possession of the One, the princes and dukes became the ennobled of the people. That was how each became so. Without clarity, the heavens would shake. Without stability, the earth would quake. Without spiritual power, the gods would crumble. Without being filled, the valleys would crack. Without the life-giving power, all things would perish. Without the ennobling power, the princes and dukes would stumble. Therefore the nobility depend upon the common person for support, and the exalted ones depend upon the lowly for their base. That is why the princes and dukes call themselves the orphan, the lonely one, the unworthy. Is it not true, then, that they depend upon the common person for support? Truly, take down the parts of a chariot, and there is no chariot left. Rather than jingle like the jade, rumble like the rocks. Chapter 40. Reversion is the action of Tao. Gentleness is the function of Tao. The things of this world come from being, and being comes from non-being. Chapter 41. When the highest type of person hear the Tao, truth, they try hard to live in accordance with it. When the mediocre type hear the Tao, they seem to be aware and yet unaware of it. When the lowest type hear the Tao, they break into loud laughter. If it were not laughed at, it would not be Tao. Therefore there is the established saying, who understands Tao seems dull of comprehension. Who is advanced in Tao seems to slip backwards. Who moves on the even Tao path seems to go up and down. Superior character appears like a hollow valley. Sheer white appears like tarnished. Great character appears like infirm. Pure worth appears like contaminated. Great space has no corners. Great talent takes long to mature. Great music is faintly heard. Great form has no contour. And Tao is hidden without a name. It is this Tao that is adept at lending its power and bringing fulfillment. Chapter 42. Out of Tao, one is born. Out of one, two. Out of two, three. Out of three, the created universe. The created universe carries the yin at its back and the yang in front. Through the union of the pervading principles, it reaches harmony. To be orphaned, lonely, and unworthy is what people hate most, yet princes and dukes call themselves by such names. For sometimes things are benefited by being taken away from, and suffer by being added to. Others have taught this maxim, which I shall teach also. The violent person shall die a violent death. This I shall regard as my spiritual teacher. Chapter 43. The softest substance of the world goes through the hardest. That which is without form penetrates that which has no crevice. Through this I know the benefit of taking no action. The teaching without words and the benefit of taking no action are without compare in the universe. Chapter 44. Fame or one's own self? Which does one love more? One's own self or material goods? Which has more worth? Loss of self or possession of goods? Which is the greater evil? Therefore, one who loves most spends most. One who hoards much loses much. The contented person meets no disgrace. Who knows when to stop runs into no danger. Such a person can long endure. Chapter 45. The highest perfection is like imperfection, and its use is never impaired. The greatest abundance seems meager, and its use will never fail. What's most straight appears devious. The greatest skill appears clumsiness. The greatest eloquence seems like stuttering. Movement overcomes cold, but keeping still overcomes heat. Who is calm and quiet becomes the guide for the universe. Chapter 46. When the world lives in accord with Tao, racing horses are turned back to haul refuse carts. When the world lives not in accord with Tao, cavalry abounds in the countryside. There is no greater curse than the lack of contentment, no greater sin than a desire for possession. Therefore, one who is contented with contentment shall always be content. Chapter 47. Without stepping outside one's doors, one can know what is happening in the world. Without looking out of one's windows, one can see the Tao of heaven. The farther one pursues knowledge, the less one knows. Therefore the sage knows without running about, understands without seeing, accomplishes without doing. Chapter 48. The student of knowledge aims at learning day by day. The student of Tao aims at losing day by day. By continual losing, one reaches doing nothing. He who conquers the world often does so by doing nothing. When one is compelled to do something, the world is already beyond his conquering. Chapter 49. The sage has no decided opinions and feelings, but regards the people's opinions and feelings as his own. The good ones I declare good, the bad ones I also declare good. That is the goodness of virtue. The honest ones I believe, the liars I also believe. That is the faith of virtue. The sage dwells in the world peacefully, harmoniously. The people of the world are brought into a community of heart, and the sage regards them all as his own children.